Great. Okay, so let's get going. We're gonna do some real cool things today, as we always do. But let's start with some breathing. And before we even go into a specific intention like slow breathing, let's just put our hands on our lower abdomen and just become aware without really having to change anything. Sometimes even just putting awareness on our breath or on anything tends to change it dynamically anyway. But awareness is required, right? When we want to facilitate change, awareness is the first part. So just kind of see how you're breathing today. You're breathing a little more shallowly. Is it a little more rapid? And then we'll start to, let's actually bring one hand on the chest and leave the other hand on the lower abdomen. So we'll do wave breathing. So now we'll create some intention. So we're intending on sending the breath first to the lower abdomen, belly puffs out. And then as we inhale, it rises up through the torso. So the ribs expand and the chest rises. And then we slowly exhale first, feeling the chest sink down, then the ribs pull in and the belly pulls in. So we're intending on creating a little wave through the body from the bottom up, and then exhaling from the top back to the bottom. Nice and slow. Maybe engaging the breath in the back of the throat. If you practice yoga, the ujjayi breath, which is when we're breathing and you are placing a little bit of emphasis on the back of the throat. So it sounds almost like if you put your ear to a conch shell, that oceanic sound. We can start to create a vibration internally that feels akin to a wave coming into the shore and then retreating. And let's open the eyes and let's incorporate a little movement with the breath. So soaring eagle into with including the three-part breath. So we're just going to slowly inhale, let the belly puff out, the ribs expand, chest, I'm going to hit a beam here, chest rises, and then bring the hands above your head, crisscross the wrists so the palms touch. And then you can even wiggle the rib cage a little bit, take a nice inhale, and then slowly exhale, bring the arms slowly down. Nice long exhale. And then again, we'll inhale, the arms float all the way up, wrists crisscross so the palms touch. We inhale just a little bit more and then exhale. So as we stretch, we can create a little more space for air to come in. So we're literally creating and stretching the lines so the lungs can expand just a little bit more, and then exhale, let everything soften back down. And again, nice and gentle. The hands just float up, they gently crisscross, a little more on the inhale, and then slowly exhale. And let's do one more. Inhale. And slowly exhale. Okay, I love doing that, right? Because it actually feels like we can create more space if we have flexibility and we're stretching those lines, especially the intercostal muscles. So let's go into spinal cord breathing now. So it's going to gently inhale, bring the hands up by your face, look up, and then curl forward, chin tucks in, and the tailbone tucks down. And then inhale, just think about as we look up, we're stretching the front side of the shoulders, the front of the spine, and then we're exhaling. Nice stretch in the lower back, all the way up the spine to the head. And exhale. Nice, slow inhale. Just think about reversing. Remember the term text neck? So text neck is the habitual posture of people with their heads bent sort of over their phones, and this becomes habitualized. Next thing you know, the front of the shoulders or the pectorals are too tight, and the posture becomes a little anterior, so forward. And this creates, I think, for every like inch forward, the amount of strain on the body is like compounded. So if we work to open up the front of the body, right, we're realigning the muscles from the front of the body and the back of the body so that we are more upright. On the next inhale, let's turn and rotate slightly over to the left. And then exhale back to the center. And now inhale slowly to the right. And then back to the center. So now we're giving a little spinal rotation as we're also opening up the spine and the front of the shoulders. Just a little gentle rotation here. Keeping the arms nice and loose, the shoulders nice and loose, the wrists nice and loose. And let's do one more to each side. And let's come to the center, drop the arms down. All right, let's do a little clearing. Arms out to the sides, take a nice inhale, and then exhale, dropping the arms down. Inhale. And now let's rotate. So I'm going to turn to one side on the exhale, and then inhale back to the center, and then exhale. So getting some activation throughout the legs, and then allowing this little twist here, right, to help open up the space between the shoulder blades, loosening up the neck, and then clearing some of the maybe emotional stuff that's going on, maybe getting a little bit sticky. And let's start to slow down. Okay, let's go into a wider stance now. And bend the knees. So this is called Tiger Pierces the Veil. You want to make this a little more challenging. You go into a deeper knee bend. You don't need to do that. So if you want to stay a little more upright, so it's less activation in the legs, that's totally fine. But we'll start with the palms facing the earth. And then we're going to turn slightly to the right and shift the weight to the right foot. And as we do, the hands glide across over to the corner. And then we're going to inhale, come up to the center, like the palms face forward. You're going to inhale, bringing the arms up, and then shift the weight to the back foot as the hands come back down. So you're making a big circle. You're shifting the weight to the front foot with the palms facing down, and then bring the hands all the way up and around to the back foot, bending the back, the back knee. Getting a frog in my throat. So exhale forward and then inhale back up and around. So you come to the center, shift the weight to the front foot, extend the arms out, and then inhale, like your inhale is pulling the arms back to the back foot, and then exhale to the front foot again. So we're gonna go nice and slow. Inhale, gliding across, and then shifting the weight forward again. So inhale, shift the weight to the back foot, and then exhale, extending forward. And nice and slow. Again, you can make it a little more challenging, coming into a deeper knee bend. Inhale, or you can just do a baby knee bend. So pulling the hands across. The tiger represents strength, not shockingly, but also courage. And the tiger piercing the veil is sort of we'll call it the inner dialogue, right? The self-limiting beliefs, the stories that we tell ourselves in our brain. The veil, for the most part, right? This is, it's just a veil, and piercing through the veil is, taking that strength and courage to pierce through that chatter, to allow a full expression of who you are, who we all are, right? Our authentic selves. So washing away, piercing through, so that that inner light can shine. Full expression of who we truly are. Letting the stories sort of just fall away. And let's come to the center for a moment. Hands to the center of the chest. Let's pause here before we go to the opposite side. So inhale, look up as the arms extend out, and then exhale, sink the chest, tuck the chin down, and then inhale and exhale. And one more inhale. Okay, so now let's go into, again, just whatever feels good for you in terms of the knee bend. Palms are facing down towards the earth. Turn slightly now over to the left foot, and then we're going to bring the arms across as we shift the weight to that front knee. And then inhale, going to draw the hands up so the palms face forward, and then leaning into that back leg, and then exhaling forward again. So we exhale across, and then slowly inhale a big circle with those arms to the back leg, and then exhale forward again. And then let's see if we can relax into it. So keeping the arms nice and loose. Just think of them floating across and then gliding forward. So inhale, float up to the back leg, shift the weight to the front foot, gliding forward. Let's do one more. Inhale, exhale, and then let's come back to the center. Hands at the center of the chest, and then inhale, look up. And exhale. And again, inhale. And one more. Okay, let's bring the feet back to a narrower stance. And actually, let's do a little stretching of the meridian lines. This is the Dao Yin sequence. So we start with the feet closer together. If you need to be a little bit more separated, that's fine, but we are in a more narrow stance than our normal. I know I keep doing this. I'm dancing. So feet together, and let's take the palms first, the center of the chest. Just feel where you are, feel your center. And then clasp the fingers together, except for the index finger. So they're going to point upward. There's a beam here, so I have to go a little bit to the side here. So on the inhale, you're going to raise the arms all the way up so that those fingers are pointing up. The index fingers are pointing up. Squeeze your glutes together, and very gently, you're just going to arch slightly and look up. It doesn't have to be a very deep bend. This is called strengthening the iron bridge of our spine. Take a few rounds of breath here. Inhale and exhale. And now keep the fingers together to the back of your head, and then go into a very deep knee bend. And as you do, you're kind of making yourself into a little ball, kind of crouching down towards the earth. And then slowly inhale, coming all the way back up. The fingers are clasped, except for the index fingers again. You're going to inhale and stretch up. And then exhale, that little basket behind your head, all the way down. And then inhale, slowly come up. Inhale, and then exhale back down. And then one more time, inhale. Now this time, release your hands, bring them out to the sides, and then keeping your knees slightly bent, we're going to let ourselves fold all the way forward. Okay, this is really great for the back of the legs. You can keep your hands on your thighs if that feels better. You can let your fingertips fall to the earth. Your knees are bent, so you're protecting your hamstrings. Breathe. And then we'll take the fingers and make a little basket again. So interlock your fingers so the palms are facing up. And then we're going to slowly unroll or roll up, unfurl, keeping those hands clasped. And then we're going to inhale, bring your hands all the way up so the palms face the ceiling. And then come up to the balls of your feet. This is called raising the bubbling spring. So if you can stay up here for a few rounds, this is a great balance exercise. Don't forget to breathe. So the point right where the balls of the feet meet the arch is the first point on the kidney channel. And the translation for that point is the bubbling spring. And then exhale, bring the heels down. And then we're going to keep the hands clasped. We're going to stretch up and then gently over to the left. And then breathe. Slow inhale. So you get a really nice stretch throughout the right side of the rib cage. This is the liver and gallbladder territory here. And then inhale and then exhale. The first part where we had our index fingers pointing up and crouching down, that was stretching the metal element. And then we did the kidney, the water element, when we were folded forward. Now this is the wood. And now inhale back to the center. Now release the hands. We're only going to come down to shoulder height and just press your palms to the sides of the room. You should feel a nice stretch through the forearms. This is the heart, small intestine, pericardium, which is the fire element. So press through the palms. Now turn your hands slightly so that your fingers are facing back towards the back of your room. So it just changes a little bit of that stretch. And now turn all the way so your fingers are facing down. So your palms are up, you're stretching the inner forearms. And now exhale, just drop the arms down for a moment. Feel that flood and rush of energy. Oh, all the way down the arms into the fingertips. So we just stretched the yin side of the arm. Let's do the yang side. So this time, bring your fingers together and your thumb together, our little bird beaks, and then flex your wrists so that your fingers are facing in. Now inhale and bring those arms back up to shoulder height. So now we're stretching the outside of the arms. So let's stretch here for a moment. And now turn so the fingers are facing forward. So you're still bending at the wrist. And now inhale so the fingers turn and are facing the ceiling. And now slowly let the arms drop down. And again, just feel that flood, that rush of chi. And now let's just shake everything out so we can go into our flows. You can use any, if you want to go through the sounds, the whole sequence, we can do that on the exhale, or you can just keep it with the heart sound, which is H-A-A-A. Then start to slow down. Okay, so our first flow, I'm really excited about this because I don't think we've done this in our classes yet. Um, it's it's Qigong for bones. It's called bone breathing. So it's a combination of soft movements and also a more forceful contraction. So we'll start a normal hip distance apart. We'll start with flying, which we've done many times. So this will just keep everything nice and loose. And then on the inhale, the arms float up to shoulder height. And then exhale, let the elbows drop down first. And then the hands float all the way back down. So we're just keeping everything nice and soft and open. Feeling that expansiveness. And then start on the inhale, start to imagine that your pores all over your body, your pores are opening. And as we inhale, the pores are opening and you're taking in this golden light that starts to drip and infuse into your bones. Just imagine the pores are open, this golden healing light is getting sipped in through the pores and then into the bones. Our bones are not solid, they're like crystals. There's a lot of movement and energy through the matrix of the bones. So here we're just infusing those interstitials with this golden light, helping to strengthen them, to help, bone formation, healthy bone marrow. And we're just sipping that light right into the deepest parts of the body, which are the bones, into that matrix. So now we'll include the 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 other half of this. So as we inhale, everything is nice and loose and light. Now, before we exhale or while we're exhaling, spread the fingers and start to contract all the muscles of the upper arm. Okay, so you're like tightening everything up. And as we exhale, you're going to keep that contraction as we bring the arms all the way back down, like we're compressing everything. And then relax, and we just loosely float back up. So it's on the exhale, spread the fingers, contract the arms, and then exhale. Imagine that you're condensing all of that golden light into the bones. So the pores are open, we're drawing in light, and now we're contracting and sending that light into the bones by condensing and compressing. So it's a combination of this lightness, this receptivity of drawing in, and now we're contracting and uh, having the intention, right, of sending that into the bones. Now we'll include the legs. So we'll inhale nice and light. Now we're contracting the hands and the arms. Now engage the legs. So squeeze the butt, your glutes, squeeze your legs, and then we're exhaling, condensing in all the way into the bones, and then loosen everything up as we inhale. Drawing in the golden light, and then contracting everything all the way in, and then inhale. And that light permeates through all of the bones. Yeah, our bones respond to pressure. It's why weight training, they say, is really good for bones. So here we're just using our intention and more like, I guess, isometric would be the word, right? We're pressing in and sending all of that good light into the bones. Let's do that a couple more times. Now just loosen the hands. Now we'll just we'll continue, not contain, a nice light inhale and a nice light exhale. So now just let the arms float back down. So inhale, nice and light. And we're exhaling with relaxation now. And just imagine that golden light is extended throughout the bones. So the bones are now glowing. And now let's bring our hands into our chi ball for a moment. And now let's step let's step back with the right foot. So your legs are staggered. And we're going to stay right in the center, right in the center. So feel you don't want to be too far forward or too far back. You're sort of right in the center. And then the arm's going to drop down. And we're just going to inhale, float the arms up. And then exhale, float the arms down. So it's looks a lot like open the flow, but we have our legs are staggered. We're sort of facing right over that front leg, but the weight is central. Well, this is part of the Bird Frolics sequence. So the quality, right, of birds, this ethereal quality, gaining height so that we look down or look back and we have this brilliant perspective. And we have this weightlessness that elevates us. So the things that feel heavy and lead-like can sort of fall below while the golden, beautiful light that makes us or helps us feel light and joyful can percolate back up. I'm starting to make up words today. So just inhale and exhale. Now, on the next inhale, let's inhale the left arm to the side and the right arm comes forward. So you're making like a V with your hands. And we'll just do that a couple of times. So again, your left hand, we're going to inhale it to the side and the right hand or right arm forward. And exhale. Now we are going to change. We're still on the side, but bring the arms down. And now as we inhale, take that left arm in front and now the right arm out to the right. So we're still making a V, but now we're just slightly rotated now more towards the right. So the Left arm comes up in front, right arm comes to the side, and then exhale down. Inhale. And we started at the center, and then we shifted so that there was a little more opening on the left side of the body, and now there's a little more opening now on the right side, right? As that right arm comes out, a little more energy that's opening up through the front of the right chest. And now let's come back to the center. So the hands right next to one another. We're going to inhale back up to where we started, just for a couple of rounds of breath. Now, in the next inhale, step that back foot forward and just stay here at the center for a moment. Inhale. Now, on the next exhale, so inhale. On the exhale, step back with your left foot. So now your right foot is a little in front of your left. And we're still right over that front leg. Gonna inhale now, right at the center. So you don't want to be too far forward or too far back. Right in the middle. Now on the next inhale, we're going to inhale the right arm to the right, left arm comes in front. So right in front. And then exhale down. So again, your right arm, you're going to inhale to the right side of the room, and the left arm comes right in front of you, towards the front of the room, and then exhale. And now on the exhale, bring your arms back to the center, and now your right arm comes in front, left arm out to the left, and then exhale. So these bird frolic exercises again, right? The lung and large intestine channels, the metal element, this pristine exchange of air, of keeping things in perspective, of lightness, right? Seeing possibilities from this vantage point of feeling uplifted and elevated, letting the chains and the lead just spill down the legs and off to the earth. And that internal, ever abiding peace and that well of serenity that is there is so much more easily accessed. Now let's come back to the center for just a round or two of inhales and exhales. So the arms are facing, both facing that front leg. Now on the next inhale, you're just going to step back up. Let's continue just for another moment, absorbing all of that goodness that's in your bones, permeating your pores. Maybe imagine now that your pores have been open and drawing in, or just very gently allowing them to close so that we're containing all of that goodness in the interior. And then bring your hands back to a chi ball for a moment. Pulse the hands. And then bring the feet together. Drop the arms down. Inhale the right arm, the side, all the way to the top. And then exhale down the center line of the body. Now the left. Inhale. Just drawing everything down the center, right into the lower dantian. And inhale. And then one more time to each side. And now bring everything to the lower abdomen, the lower dantian. And let's pause here, just feeling our entire bodies are glowing from the inside out. And that shimmering light creates these little ripples throughout the body and even extends just beyond the skin. So it extends even a foot or 2 feet in front of us, behind us, to the right and left, and then above and below. And when you're ready, you can crack your eyes open. Thank you, everyone. I'm going to stop this recording.
That